welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know me, I am uZinhle, your host and friend in all things growth and personal development. And for all of you that are returning, thank you so much for coming back. Now, guys, I wanted us to talk about healing our traumas. And me having to talk about my traumas means that I now have to be as vulnerable as I can be, and I can safely say for the greatest part of it, I have struggled with vulnerability, but I am doing exactly that now. So today is all about learning to heal our traumas, understanding how these have influenced who and what we have become, and also eventually learning to extend grace towards the people that have caused us these traumas where people are concerned, and also trying to understand what influenced their decisions. So for context, I will share what has been my greatest trauma. So for me, I've spent a great deal of my childhood without my father. I'm assuming it's all my childhood because I've never actually bothered to seek clarity as to which parts he was there, because it won't change anything for me. Because if I was told that he was there up until 4 years old, it's not like now I will have something to hold on to and remember that he was at least there for some time. So I take Uguti, he was never there, because I have no collection of memories of him being there. So fast forward, with my dad not being there, around 12 years, or my early teens, maybe 12, between 12 and 14 years, I then wanted to have a relationship with my father. I think before that, it has never really affected me, but maybe it has, but just that I had not gotten to the point where I really wanted to have a relationship with him. So I brought it up with my mom and I asked her, who is my dad? And I don't know what answer she gave me, but I remember writing a letter to her, because I think she just answered in passing and didn't really think I was gonna follow up on the question. So I then wrote her a letter and I expressed how I wanted to meet my dad. She then made an arrangement for us to meet. And for me, that was going to be my first time meeting my dad. So I was excited because now this is finally happening. I've always yearned to have a dad present in my life. And this is me now going to finally meet him. And guys, when you already thinking, you know how it is in the movies when you see someone that you haven't seen in the longest time, you have a picture of those slow motion pictures, videos where you're running towards each other and it's like, I've missed you. So I had that picture in mind, of me meeting my dad for the first time. So this one day my mom says, there's a car outside and the person that's in that car waiting for you is your dad, so you can finally meet him. So from that you can pick up as well. She was not happy with me wanting to meet him, but she made a decision, you know what, if you want to meet your dad, then you can go ahead. So fine, I step out of the house. She's looking at me going there, and then I step into the car. Sana. None of that, Kesana. I get there, I'm meeting this man that I really have no idea Guti Kubani, but I'm being told he's my dad. My heart is pumping, Sana. Rate is like, I'm excited. He seemed unbothered. Hey, you know when Ingatu last seen Sana was last week? Kandi, this is someone that I have not seen for forever. And he's like, Chini molo ndombam. Like, I still remember, to this day, I still remember. He was like, Molo ndombam. Like, dim ubanbani. So he was basically introducing himself. Dim tatakho, I'm your dad. And I don't remember what else we talked about, but I remember him going to show me where he stays. And Sana, shockingly, he was not even far. Like, it's in the same town. Now I was just thinking to myself, I've spent like the rest of my life wanting to meet this person, and like I've been yearning, I've been aching over me not knowing him, and then now I've finally met him, and that is it. Like, has it been my greatest experience? And also, this person does not seem to be excited about meeting me. This person does not seem bothered that he hasn't been in my life. We never had a conversation where he was telling me where he was, and maybe him apologizing to me. And what bothered me the most was the fact that he was in the same town. So throughout all this time, he failed to actually reach out, because surely he knew that I was his child and I was around the town. So why have you never actually made effort to make sure, Guti, you are part of my life? So sometimes parents know very well that what they are protecting you from, and as a parent you can't actually hold back, or when the child says they want to finally meet their dad, so you allow them to actually see their dad and experience them by themselves, so that they can make their own decisions and have an opinion that is not influenced by you or anyone else. So I think that's when I actually started to feel some type of way. Initially, it was just me going through it because I have no idea who this person is, and me wanting him to be a part of my life. And then now I have had to actually deal with the issues that have now come with me meeting him and realizing that maybe or just maybe he never wanted me to be a part of his life, And that is when the issues of abandonment, rejection, vulnerability started. So how has this affected me? So I grew up with my stepdad, who is my sister's father, and I struggled with accepting him as my dad. And now that I look back, I realize that he was never the problem, but I felt that he was replacing my father. I felt that if that was my father in his position, it would mean that I get to spend time with my father, I get to experience my dad, and now him being in our lives was basically blocking my experience or blocking my father from being in my life. It has greatly affected how I view men and the kind of person I am, especially in relationships, in romantic relationships. I've had negative thoughts of feeling that I'm not worthy of being loved, because how then do you believe that you're worthy of being loved by another man if the one man that was actually supposed to love you never gave you that? So I'd meet a man and basically hold back and not allow myself to actually love them fully or show them that I actually feel some type of way, because in my head, men come to your life only to leave you hanging, right? And the slightest inconvenience from men and I jump off, because for me, I'd rather jump off first than wait for you to disappoint me and then make me feel what I had experienced. And to this day, I'm unable to hold relationships with anyone that is not involved in a child's life. So if I walk into your life and I pick up Sanoba, you have a child PPP and you are not a present dad, I'm off. I'm off because I too was that child. And there is no way I'm taking that to my other kids. And there is no way I'm staying in a space where other kids are made to experience the very same thing that I have experienced. So, to a certain extent, it has helped me with choosing the kind of partners that I stay with or decide to stay with. Have I healed? I can safely say yes, but not completely. So I can say I am scarred as opposed to being wounded. As I have healed most parts of it, it does not go away that I have spent most of my childhood without him, and that has never been how I wanted it to be. I still wish he was a part of my life. I still wish things had been different. I still wish I had received baby girl treatment from my dad. And when I look at other people having great relationships with their dads, it does spark Landioba. I wish I had experienced that as well. So yeah. And unfortunately, that is something I cannot repair, because just when I was actually attempting to mend the relationship that we never had, we only then saw each other once after that event. So I only saw him 2 times and then he passed on. So I never actually got to mend that relationship and get to actually experience him. So now I'm left with the few not so great memories, and I sometimes ask myself, had he not passed on, how would our relationship be now? Like, would we have gotten to a point where we fix the issues that we had and actually get along, or would it have been exactly what it was? Would I have actually gotten a chance to be a dad's baby girl? Would I actually have gotten a chance to be a dad's girl? So we never know. So in the journey of healing, I also got to a point of not just understanding myself, but also understanding him and eventually forgiving him. Understanding him in the sense that I obviously never got the time to ask him why he was never part of my life, or why he decided not to be a part of my life. I do not have the answers. He is not here to answer all those questions, but I have had to deal with it by myself, my way. And upon digging deeper and in the journey of healing, I discovered that he too grew up without a father. His father was never a hands-on dad, or his dad was not a present dad in his life. So now it got me to a position where if I am able to understand how my traumas influence the kind of person I am to myself and to the people around me, then I should be able to extend the grace and be able to understand how his traumas as well might have led to him acting the way he acted, because surely he too was a child at some point, and he too experienced the traumas that he experienced, which is an absent dad in his life as well. And because he too was never shown how to be a dad, so as a child he was never, so if as a child he was then never shown how to be a dad, how then maybe as a grown-up or adult was he then supposed to be a dad? I don't know if I'm making sense, but also it involves a whole lot of you having to be empathetic to the same person that actually caused you all this trauma. And it's not a easy position to finally put yourself in, but also I think it's an essential step when you are trying to walk into forgiveness. Not that I'm saying that his actions can be justified. I think it's fair to say as people we can be able to work on ourselves and not carry generational curses, but also at the same time I think it's fair to say that whatever it is that we have experienced in the past can easily influence who we become in the future. So for me, I chose to see it in that way, that he was not able to be a dad because he was never shown how to be a dad. He has no idea how a dad is supposed to be. He has no idea how he should be in order to be a present dad, because that is something he too has never experienced. Yes, it's not an excuse, but it's definitely something that has affected and influenced who he later became. And yes, guys, but I don't know if this is me consoling myself because I can never reverse how things turned out, or if it's me being too empathetic, or if it's me making excuses for him, but that is how I chose to see it, and I have forgiven him for what has happened. And yes, I have not forgotten how it has made me feel. Ziyalungiswa izinto, guys, and it's very important that we extend grace to people in as much as we expect people to extend grace towards us when we have done wrong. If you are a praying person and you do our Father and say the words that say, forgive us as we forgive those who trespass against us, then I do take that very seriously. I'm actually happy that I talked about this, and I'm realizing that the more I talk about it, then it does not feel as heavy, because in the past, Sana, whenever I think about it or try to talk about it, then River Nile, Sana, I'd start crying. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Please do like if you can relate, and share your experiences with regards to traumas, how far you are in your journey of healing, and how your traumas have affected you as a person. Bye.